Hey everybody, today you're going to be hearing from my client, Catherine. Now, Catherine and I actually only worked together for 1 month. When we got on our first consult call, she kind of made it clear to me that hey, my budget is tight, I have enough money to spend on 1 month of coaching, and my main goal is kind of to just get my bearings in the gym. And I said, challenge accepted. I asked myself, what can we do in this 1 month that we have together to kind of cram in as much training information as we possibly can so that she can go into her workouts feeling confident, feeling like she knows what she's doing, feeling like she's not going to injure herself, and feel like she's actually making progress. So what we did is we created her a program. I gave her her own Excel spreadsheet, just like all of my other clients get. And then we proceeded to spend the next 4 weeks focusing on virtual training calls. We got in, it must have been 12 sessions together in the month that we worked together. And we literally addressed everything that you can imagine. We tweaked her form so that she didn't feel discomfort in her exercises. We substituted exercises that were causing her discomfort. We tweaked her form so that she could actually feel the exercises in the right place. We learned how to actually train hard, what training close to true failure actually feels like. She learned how to keep her own training notes. She learned how to make sure that she's actually seeing progress. And accidentally, we kind of came up with this training boot camp of sorts that in our opinion is way better than any cookie cutter program that an influencer is selling online is ever going to be, because no program is truly your program until you've taken the time to execute it, try out the program, and see if it actually works for you. Does the number of days per week that you're working out actually work for you? Does the exercises that you selected actually work for you? Does the form that this person online is telling you to do it, is that actually working for you? Do you have any limitations that we need to think about and work around? And yeah, we had a great time together. Now, without further ado, meet Catherine. What were you looking for when you thought that coaching might be something that you needed?
I just wanted something to help me ease in, because I've been working out pretty consistently. And I knew I needed to switch gyms, and then my routine was going to be different. And I was like, you know what? I don't actually know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm fine, but I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I feel like I have a leg day, arm day, but I don't actually know how to. I see on some lines like a split. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, or volume. And I was like, I think it would just be helpful to have someone. And I knew someone that had worked with you. Mm-hmm. And she was like, she's the best. It's so good to have accountability, and I love checking off tasks. If someone give me an assignment and I will complete it. So I wanted someone to kind of help me transition to a new space and actually set up a workout plan versus me kind of showing up and kind of having an idea of what to do, but not really.
Mm-hmm. And you came in really just wanting to do 1 month, which is very different from what a lot of my other clients do. So in that 1 month specifically, you were just looking for what are the holes that I have in my style of training? Yeah. Is there any new knowledge that Marina can provide for me? I feel like you told me this, that you had watched my content previously. How is watching my content different than working with me one-on-one? Because what I always tell people is that if you don't have the means for coaching, you can at least access this free content that I put online. Or was there anything that you learned from the content that I just kind of repeated and confirmed for you? Does that make sense? You know how we doubt ourselves when we're learning by ourselves?
Yeah, I definitely do. I felt much better working with you than just the content, but I think you explained RDLs very well. I just wanted someone, I needed you to watch me. So I think it's specific exercises where I can look at a video and I'm like, okay, you explain it well, I get it. I think I'm doing it, but having someone watching you is just different. Being able to be just this tiny, tiny adjustments.
No, that's so good, because there are some things that you can only learn by doing and by practicing, and by having someone who has seen hundreds of different case studies to be able to see your specific needs. And what I mean by that is, for example, everyone's anatomy is so different. So the perfect RDL form for one person is not going to look the same for somebody else. And I was actually just talking to another client of mine about this, who was trying, she could not figure out Smith machine squats.
Yeah.
And a squat is such a technical movement involving so many joints. There is fear of hurting yourself, fear of hurting your low back, fear of hurting your knees. And so she had been trying to make her squat emulate someone else's that she had seen online.
Right.
And it wasn't working for her. She was like, I can't squat. It keeps hurting my knees. And I kept telling her, let me look at it. Let me look at it. Let me look at it. And then when she finally let me look at it, we were able to figure out what was best for her. And it's something as simple as just like apply more pressure on the insides of your feet.
Right, or heels, or you're leaning back a little bit, that kind of thing.
Or it can also just be like an intention thing. Like mentally tell your quads that you want them to turn on and be the primary mover. And mentally like will your low back to stop taking like the majority of the load. Yeah. And I literally just got off a call with a client where we were easily able to find that. Another thing that I feel like stops a lot of people, or a fear that a lot of people have that keeps them from getting started, is the fear of getting injured.
That was my big one. And that's what I came into of why I was working with you, is I was like, I've done okay so far, but I'm at higher weights now, and I just didn't know if I was doing things properly, and I really wanted someone to tell me, okay, this is where you can push yourself, and this is where, because I have that tendency of all or nothing, which we talked about a lot, but where I'll just, especially a leg machine, I won't be able to stand up. Like I'll do like some crazy weight and just push myself to maybe past failure, which isn't always the best.
Yeah.
And so I wanted someone to look at what I was doing and be like, this is good. And you did that where you're like, you can do a couple more. Like you've got it. The machine will not let it crush you. There's a safety thing on it. And then where I realized like with my knees, my joints, my muscles are growing faster, and I just have to like chill just a little bit while they catch up, and then I can go back up on the weights on a couple things.
Yeah, you're a beast. You're super strong. Yeah, there are some things that we can't do alone. Like sometimes we just need a second pair of eyes. I need a second pair of eyes. Even I have a coach to tell me, hey, you can do that better. Hey, tweak this ever so slightly, because it's hard to think objectively when we are in our own bodies. Like it's hard to see through the emotion and through the...
Right, well, especially when it's fear. Fear of getting injured is a big one, where I know that I'm like, I'll just quit. I'm like, you know what? It's starting to feel a little bit weird. Like I figured, what was it? RDLs? Where I was like, I feel it in my back. And you said, well, does it hurt? I said, no, I just feel it. Like you're supposed to. I didn't know my back was supposed to be working at all. I was like, I feel so in my back, I gotta stop. And you're like, it's okay.
A huge conversation that I keep going back to with clients is that only more recently, okay, this is an idea that I heard on a podcast, and I think it makes so much sense, and now this is what I tell everyone. Only in more recent years have we started associating pain with very negative things. Like only more recently have we assumed that like all pain is bad, and the perfect human condition is no pain. And they reframed it, and they were like, well, actually, what if pain is a necessary part of life? Oh my God, literally poetic. And just because you feel something in your knee, oh, my knee is cranky today, or just because you feel something cranky in your elbow, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that exercise. It probably means that you need to find a substitute, or you need to change your form ever so slightly for your unique limitations. And that's always exciting to work with someone, and they're like, oh, well, I feel pain here, pain here, pain here. And I'm like, well, that's not always the worst thing that can happen. You can work around it, and then like teaching them how to work around it. And they're like, oh, I don't need to be afraid of pain. All I have to do is listen to my body. If it hurts, don't do that.
Mm-hmm. And just do it slightly differently.
what did you think coaching would be like before starting, and how is it the same or different than what you expected, if you had any expectations at all?
I guess I had some before I heard from my friend. It was more of I pictured coaching as someone kind of not necessarily yelling at you, but sort of the more intense, like the less positive reinforcement, more of what is it called? Yeah, but also just the more judgment. I think just of because I didn't feel very good about where I was at, and I was like, oh, if I go to a coach, they're gonna be judging me for all the weight that I gained. But then through talking to my friend, she was like, no, it's actually great. She's very understanding, and it's less of it's based on what my goal is. It's not, I'm coming to you and you're like, you have to look this certain way. You need to be this kind of fitness. You don't even have to do weightlifting. I mean, that's more your style, but there are other options for fitness that we've talked about incorporating in for me based on what I like doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was more of that. Of just initially when I thought of fitness coaching, I thought of someone scary yelling at me and telling me I needed, you're like, you've got to lose weight, like this has to happen ASAP, versus coming to you and just saying, hey, I need help transitioning and I want a workout plan. And then we found one that I really like. And as I was going through this month and just, it wasn't my best sort of feeling how I was feeling and sleeping, it was still great. And I hit PRs and we found a way to make it really useful, and I actually made a lot of progress even though I didn't think I was going to.
Isn't that crazy? You considered this past month to be a not great month for you, but I'm pretty sure you made it to all 16 workouts.
I did. And there was one day where I felt so tired. I remember I said, this is not going to be a good day. And then I hit some PRs. And that's the thing, without tracking it, I wouldn't have known. I would have gone to the gym, done my thing, been like, man, that was a terrible workout, versus looking back, I can go, I actually lifted more weight and did more reps than I have up to this point.
You can't.
What is it? You can't manage what you don't measure. I think that's a huge component that a lot of beginners in the gym miss out on, is they've never thought to track every set, every rep, every weight they're doing with notes. Was that something that you had done before? Had you ever kept track of your notes like that?
I started tracking it a few months before starting this because I had seen you had talked about how important it was. So I thought, I'll just try this before I work with her. I'll start doing it. But it wasn't as, your spreadsheet's so nice. I just had my notes app on my phone where I write what I did and just kind of have a general thing. But the spreadsheet's great. And it does make a big difference. And I noticed from this time starting back in the gym this year, tracking versus in the past never tracking, so much better. And I feel like I've made a bit more progress.
Are there any other changes that you had to make in the month that we had together, other than tracking notes, that you felt like were useful to you?
Besides the specific exercises? Because most of it was, for me, the routine was different. Actually, and I really like that. I had been doing more arm day, leg day, split completely separate, versus what we have right now is the split all 3 days. And I feel like that works well for me, where I can go hard and I can recover between them, but I get in more week to week than I would, because I would only do 3 workouts. So it'd be either 2 arms or 2 legs and one the other, versus I get 3 every single week. And I feel like I can make more progress that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the first questions that I ask my clients is, how many days a week can you realistically work out? Not just how many days a week would you like to work out in your perfect ideal world?
Right.
And a lot of people in their perfect ideal world, I can work out 4 to 6 times a week. And so they keep trying to follow a program made for someone who can make it 4 to 6 times a week, for example, an upper lower split. But if you're consistently only showing up 2 or 3 times a week, like you said, you're missing out on gains. So why wouldn't you accept your reality, work with your unique constraints, and do a 2 to 3 times a week full body that you know for a fact if you miss day 3, you still trained every muscle group in your body twice. If you met someone and you felt like they could really use coaching, like they would benefit from it, how would you describe the day-to-day of coaching?
It's like ongoing support, because I can text you anytime and say like, I'm having a terrible day, or this happened, or I couldn't get in to the gym this day. And you usually offer something. We worked on, we had a different workbook that we added me into the meditation group. It can be, if you added the nutrition as well, kind of more of an all-encompassing holistic approach, because it's not just about, it can be, if you want to show up and just to the gym, but you also are offering the anxiety stress management group, and day-to-day, you can do form checks. You would call with me every time I went to the gym, which was so helpful. I did look a little bit crazy, but I got over it. But there's a lot of old men in my gym. They're like, why is she talking to herself?
Were you scared at first? I thought you would be a little bit more like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that.
I was nervous, but then I just thought, I don't care. I want to get this done. And I felt like that was the most helpful thing for me, was the calling and in the moment getting feedback. Because I can't multitask well, and so I'm trying to breathe, because I keep forgetting to do that while exercising, and then my form and counting the reps, and so it was nice to have someone else do it, so I'm like, I could just breathe. And
were you skeptical at all that how could virtual work?
Not so much, because I have seen it with like dog training. So sort of I saw it from the perspective of but like 5 years ago, yeah. Because in the pandemic, everyone training-wise started coaching virtually, and I thought, how you need to be there. And then participating in it myself, working with trainers virtually, and then doing it a little bit myself, I actually like it more.
Yeah. Because
it gives so much more freedom. One, for you can get more clients in. Two, there are things that in the moment sometimes we miss, but if you have it on video, I feel like you're outside of it and you can look at the full picture of what's going on. And if it's recorded like a form check, you can look back at it. And also I can look back at it, right? If I was taking form checks versus same thing with training, if you're looking at a video, you can look at your body language, you can look at what happened in the session.
Yes.
And so you don't actually, because most of the time with a lot of it, I don't need anyone else technically, physically in the gym with me. It would feel nice. Like in my head, that's a cool thing, but it honestly felt like it anyway, because I could talk to you.
Yeah, that's so iconic. I've never had someone explain it like that before. But that's a lot of people's like biggest, what is that called? Apprehension about online coaching is, how would this work? I like a trainer in person. Yeah. I'm like, you don't understand, like, it's way better online.
Actually, I do prefer it.
Yeah.
It's really nice. You just have to get the technology part down, and then not you, but you're fine.
Yeah. No, I know what you meant. Yeah. You feel like you're not that technologically savvy?
I feel like I just have a problem at some point. Like I with the headphones, I tried so many different headphones. The ones, I would sweat them out of my ear. The other ones, one wouldn't work and they disconnect. I was like, okay, still work totally fine. I ended up being fine. But yeah, I actually have changed my mind on that since the pandemic. And I prefer, hybrid's cool too, but a lot of like the virtual support, I feel like makes a huge difference, because you can do day to day.
Yeah.
Because if you just meet with someone one time, once a week in a gym, maybe twice a week, that gets super expensive.
It does.
And you don't have that support throughout to be like, oh, I actually want to do another workout, or I went and did a workout on my own, and they're like, well, I'll see you in the gym on Thursday, or whatever. Versus this is very much, you plan it out together, you have, because it's online, so much of it has to be tracked, which is helpful anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas like you don't normally do that as much.
Yeah.
If you're in person, it's like, oh, we're watching you, we've got it down.
Speaking of tracking, did you enjoy the weekly check-ins?
I did. I liked, because they're personal, so I got a little video and I was always excited. um,
I'm so glad that you're excited to receive my 15-minute long videos.
it does make me, as soon as I get it, I'm like, oh, I stop what I'm doing.
Where I just talk about you for 15 minutes. Honestly, that's gotta be nice.
But yeah, I think too, having something set each week where I have to look back
And reflect.
because I do tend to just, I'll full steam ahead, look at it when I'm not happy, but not actually go back. Because you know, ask questions like, what were your strengths this week? What was a win? Being like, I feel like I objectively did pretty great this week.
Well, you would come in hot saying, oh my God, I just had the worst week of my life. And then I would come in with my objective, fresh pair of eyes that's not in your body, that's feeling these intense emotions. And I can see it more clearly and say, actually, you had a great week. And then you're like, oh yeah, oh my God, thanks. Maybe I should keep doing this. Because, you know, we'll use like a bad week as confirmation that we're not cut out for this and it's not working and we're a piece of crap. But I can be like, actually, no, you're just feeling crazy right now. And you're like, oh my God, thank you so much.
You're so right. And even if I did, it's just like, it's a bad week. It's fine. It's like, you keep going. It doesn't stop you from progressing.
Yeah.
It's just one week.
My favorite thing is seeing my clients' self-talk slowly begin to shift the more check-ins they do.
Yeah.
Because every time you present me with a negative self-talk, I can match it with a more neutral way of looking at it or a reframing that's more compassionate. It's like, no, you didn't eat terribly, whatever that means.
Yeah.
You just were stressed and you didn't have time or you didn't make time to meal prep, so you opted for things that were less aligned with your goals. Next week we know.
Yeah. And it still fueled a good workout, so it's okay.
Yes.
Life goes on.
Great reframe.
That's why I reframe. I'm like, anytime I have a bad week, I'm like, I'm just bulking.
Yes! It's just going to my butt. It's going to my butt. It's going to my butt. That's so good. What would you say to someone who is on the fence about taking the leap?
Definitely worth it. I think if you want to try it on your own for a bit, go for it. But I do think it's so nice to have someone to kind of hold you accountable, objectively kind of let you know when you're doing okay, give you that support week to week. And there's someone else looking, right? You have this thing that you're writing out, but not someone that's necessarily, you were never hard on me if I didn't, put something in, or when I stopped tracking calories, you were just like, you're just not ready for your fat loss phase right now. It's okay. You're not.
Reframe.
That's totally fine. For me, the boot camp, like doing a 4-week sort of, and it took all 4 weeks to figure out
It did.
the perfect training plan and like reps and sets and when to progress and kind of figuring out what does failure mean, because all of that stuff is very overwhelming. Also a lot of machines or exercises I just did not know how to do, and in the gym I always felt uncomfortable, and just having you there with me, even on my phone, I felt so comforted. I was like, Marina will tell me if I look crazy.
Yes!
So I just think I'm so excited now going to the gym, and I feel I can look back at, even though I've been going for the last few months consistently, and we've only been working together for a month, the difference as far as my confidence, as far as when I go in, I have a plan. I know exactly which machines I'm going to hit. I know how to do them. I know I'm doing them correctly. Mostly, I think so. But I feel pretty confident of and I also am seeing results as I'm building muscle and I'm getting stronger. And so I just feel really good about what I'm doing, versus before I really wanted it, but there was all that additional kind of fear of injuring myself and feeling like, now I don't have that feeling of, I don't want to go to the gym because I just don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's not holding me back at all anymore. It's like, no, I can go. I know exactly what I need to do. Just got to get myself there. But I don't have that kind of thing holding me back anymore. Sorry for letting that weird.
You know exactly what to do now You've addressed all of your fears that were holding you back from showing up consistently. And you've learned how to track and detect true progress.
Yeah.
And if every time you're going to the gym now, you're improving, that is a huge motivating factor to get you to show up again the following week.
Yeah.
Whereas that, I think that's a lot of people's problem. Sorry, I'm fidgeting the whole time with my hair clip, but I think that's a lot of people's problem is they go in, they don't have a plan, they can't really tell if they're improving. So it's like they don't have that psychological like loop of, what is that called? Confirmation loop? I do this thing, I get a reward, so I do the thing again. So because they keep showing up and doing the thing, but they can't detect that reward, I think it's so much easier to fall off when it feels like you've been going for weeks and you feel like you've gotten no reward. Whereas when you start tracking your notes, it's immediate, it's instantaneous. From week 1 to week 2, your form was already improving. I have videos to prove it that your form is improving. I have numbers to show, whoa, you actually went up 20 pounds this week because your form and your execution improved so much from week 1 to week 2. And you're like, holy smokes, bananas. And then also having someone there to be like, dude, you can do more, I swear to God. And again,
I was shocked by how many plates you had me put on.
Yeah, and you were like, are you sure?
Like, I'm like, are you crazy?
There's like this point of no return in lifting where when you're a beginner, when it starts feeling heavy, you use that as your cue. Okay, this is heavy. Right. But then when you have someone with experience, they can show you, hey, I know it feels hard, but just because it feels hard doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing way more. And then you start like playing with that limit and pushing that limit, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to lift heavy.
Crazy. Like, it felt heavy. And then we kept adding, and it was double, and I was genuinely shocked.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily something that you would do alone.
No.
For fear.
Right. Yeah. No, I would never. I would stick right where it was because I'm like, this is heavy.
Yeah.
I feel burn, and slowly progress. Versus, I was shocked I could do so much more.
Super slay. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So lovely.